Welcome to Murphy, Sam, and Jodi after the show.
You know, one of the big takeaways that I have gotten from working with you, Murphy, my husband, is that I have a pretty firm grasp on being able to separate personal and professional. And you don't think so, Sam, because I knew you were going to make a noise like that.
I'm sure overall, yes, but...
Yeah, I do have a firm grasp on it. It doesn't mean we don't have to work at it some days.
Okay.
It's difficult. It is difficult to work with your person, your significant other. And I even tell people when they ask me, I don't really recommend it. It's not for everyone, because when you work together in a professional setting, everything is personal because you're so connected to that person. Yeah. And that's no fun for you or for anyone around you.
Yeah, it's really only if you're in a certain mindset. I mean, you and I are able to separate in most cases, but for whatever reason. But I mean, look, every human is an emotional creature. So at some point, emotion gets into the mix. Yeah. The key is to catch it before you actually act upon it.
Right. And it's what I'm saying is, I'm not saying we're perfect at it, Sam. Duh. But
I think we're better at it.
But it's what I'm saying is it has taught me in ways to separate the facts of the situation versus the feeling. Okay? Like if we do something together, let's say we shoot a little video for somebody, and at the end of it, it's like cut, it's over, and Murphy's like, well, I didn't like what, this part of it, and it's my part. And I'm like, oh, really? You didn't like it? It feels personal. Okay?
Oh, I see what
when
you're
the fact
saying.
of the matter is, it's that you professionally had a different vision.
Sure.
And it happens on the daily for you and I.
Yeah.
It does happen. And I'm sorry, Sam. You
don't apologize.
Well,
to
you
me.
always act so aggravated by it all.
Well, wait a second. This happens every day? Am I just
a lot.
missing that? I mean, it happens
Pretty
on
much.
occasion.
It happens a lot. Of course you miss it because you're a dude. You're a man. Men are not as emotional. They don't lead. Everything is not connected. Like for women, everything's connected. So everything can feel a certain way.
Yeah, I get that.
For you, it's like function, manager. I'm a cyborg. Let's work. And I am I work on being that way, but everything's about feeling. But the reason I bring it up is this. I do think there's a really good lesson in learning to separate it, because I have to call on my inner adult a lot to go, he's not being, he's not telling me I'm horrible, or he's just saying that it's about the work.
It's fact versus feeling.
Fact versus feeling. And I live in that zone a lot.
Yeah, I don't think you're horrible at all. I think you're great. I tell you that a lot, too.
I know you do.
Is that a fact or a feeling?
It's a fact. Well, it's a fact and a feeling, actually. It's both.
That's where it gets all confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're pretty good at it. And it's not to say it's not work. It is work.
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest work of our relationship is to work together. Sorry, Sam, that you have to witness it all. But I bring it up for a completely different reason. And that is that it is a great lesson for anyone in business, which everybody's in business. You work for someone, you work for yourself. It doesn't matter. If you are making a living, you're in business. For anyone in business, it's a good lesson, because we're all going to have at least one day or one instance where we have to try to not take something personally that's happened.
Yeah.
And we've had that recently. We had something happen recently that we didn't want to happen, and we're super upset about it. It's professional. It's not personal. But man, does it feel personal. And it's like walking through mud to get through it.
Yeah, it's weird. And when you're a married couple and you go through something professionally together that's a downer,
it's at home too.
It's really weird. You have to balance the way that you address it, because you also know that you will be affecting the other person. Both parts. What am I trying to say? Both spouses, but whatever.
Both people are
feeling the same way. And so if you start to talk about that, both people get brought down. You know what I'm saying? So it's really it's a slippery slope. So it's a matter of timing. In other words, what mindset can we talk about it? Do you want to talk about this now or whatever? And then we do. And
Yeah.
But
and Murphy's a workaholic, so and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I know it's not a good term.
I know that.
But that's why you're so successful as a person, as all the things you do beyond just the show here. Is that you naturally are drawn to that. Like when given free time, I don't know what you do, Sam. TikTok videos, or you watch TV, or you walk your
Netflix,
dogs, right?
Cook,
sit out on the patio, which is nice.
Great.
It's a good balance.
That is a great balance.
When Murphy's given free time, he digs into problems and solves them. He goes to work.
You
normally.
mean math?
No.
No.
He's just, but that's who you are. That satisfies something in you. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's
I know,
fact.
yeah, I know that.
I'm saying it's a fact.
And I'm actually at a point in my life where I've had so many people make fun of me of that kind of stuff over the years because, it seems like it's a constant self-help, therapy or whatever. But it's not that I am a dissatisfied person. I am energized by always growing, changing, and improving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't mind balancing my time out. I'm not really good at forcing myself to do that necessarily, but I will. When we take a break, I take a break and I enjoy it. I really do. But if I've got free time,
you have to be shown that normally. It's kind of like you need to take a break.
But if I've got free time and on my own, there's some things that I'm thinking about, like, me and Jodi and our future and retirement and the girls and this, that, and the other, and planning and making
you want to come out and look at this? I want to talk about retirement planning. I'm like, oh, okay. I want to watch.
You know how to have a weekend, huh?
I want to go watch Game of Thrones.
But not that I'm ever planning on retiring anytime soon, but just little things like that. I just. And then professional growth too. Even if you've been in an industry for a long time, like we have for several decades,
a long time.
I always want to keep getting better at it because everything in life changes.
Well, the last 6 months alone, look at all the changes we've had to adapt.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
What we do every day to that.
Right. Yeah.
I brought it up because we've experienced something together. And that means the three of us.
Yes.
The four of us, Bailey too, our team. That was difficult, okay? That's been difficult to swallow. And I think that being married and learning for all these years to balance that personal versus professional, like what is this situation really, has helped me, kind of get through it. It's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
I
have to call on that.
Yeah.
Like, is this a fact or a feeling?
Yeah.
Is this a function or a feeling?
Yeah.
Just like the presidential debate. Is my mic now not muted?
Oh.
I see when a problem occurs that affects the three of us, Murphy approaches it the most logically and less emotional.
That's interesting.
Jodi, you approach it with mainly emotional, mainly vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Fire. Sadly, I suppress it.
I know that.
I push it down and I deal with it my own way.
You're talking about what's happened recently.
Oh,
yes, he has been more logical. I have been more fiery.
But
feeling.
in a lot of the stuff, just focusing on the two of you, there's a lot of times where Murphy is more logical, fact, and as much as I know you're trying to let, not this, but anything go.
Yeah.
You never seem to completely do it.
Yeah.
And it seems to be like it hangs over that day's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do that.
I don't know if that's because I'm a woman. Women have, more difficult.
I don't think so.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that
me.
or the redhead thing or I don't know.
Well, I do think that Jodi feels things more intensely, and whether that's the redhead thing or not, and I've learned that over time. But Jodi's really good about if she really is. I'm talking about you like you're not sitting here. If you're really rattled by something, you will actually compartmentalize first. You'll just kind of, it's not withdrawing, but you just kind of keep that until you really know how you want to handle it. And that's very wise.
I let things marinate,
then you explode.
Well, I
emote.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah.
Verbalize.
I'm comfortable emoting and verbalizing with you guys, so it's never meant to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're a passionate person, and I think that, but I think that I think you've always been good at that. Is my mom always said, think before you speak, which is really funny because she was very emotional, and whatever hit her mind is what came out of her mouth. But, she always said that, and everybody's always heard that. Think before you speak. And really all they're trying to say is pause when you have an emotion before you say something. And you've actually been better with that for much longer than I have, Jodi, I think. For me, I've had to grow into that.
Just that when it does come out, it's not fun.
Yeah. I came straight out as a teenager, carrying that, same thing with me where if something hit my head, it came out of my mouth, emotion. And I really had the feeling that, well, it's my right to express, so I'm going to express.
Yes, you do.
Which is the truth. It's just not always the wisest decision. You know what I mean? Because
you used to do that a lot. You don't as much anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's just because I've grown and I think that's where Jodi and I working together as husband and wife has actually helped me to grow. Seriously, it has, because you have to put a space between the emotion and what you're going to say in a professional environment.
And a lot of people wouldn't pick up on it, Sam, but we've all been working together for so long. You're a part of this, the three of us. You're a part of this.
One mind.
It is almost like it's a separate marriage, relationship, whatever, the three of us. It's subtle things that other people wouldn't notice that you do pick up on because you know us so well.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know?
That's when I tell other folks, you better leave. It's about to get real in here. Bailey, run.
It's been a long time since it's been like that before it got real. Anyway, I just wanted to bring it up because I think everybody needs to be aware of that. If you're in any working situation, you need to be aware that there are things that are going to happen around you, and you need to handle them with the knowledge that not everything is personal, even though it feels personal, and what happens to you is personal.
Yeah.
But when things happen, it's not necessarily personal. It's just the way it is, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And I think part of the process is you got to go through that. Was that 4-step grieving thing? You know what I mean? It starts off as, is it anger, denial?
Wait. It's shock, anger, denial, acceptance.
Right,
I
exactly.
think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He suppresses it all. He doesn't care.
Suppression in there anywhere?
Yeah.
You know, one of the funny things too is, like the two of you versus me, and I don't mean versus as in, versus, but it's like you two have to talk about everything almost to death.
Oh, I hate it.
And express, and whereas I'm just like 180 complete,
Yeah.
don't talk unless I have to.
But that's going to eat you alive eventually, don't you think?
That's where comedy comes in.
Good answer. Yeah.
I think there are positives to both sides of that. The difference is, if you don't speak certain things, then action doesn't take place, right? I mean, that's why they say silence is acceptance. And so you can actually send the false message that, okay, it's all right if you don't respond to something, right? So, and that becomes tricky too, because you're right, Sam, you don't have to respond to everything, but the real trick is knowing which ones are you going to.
Because if you don't respond, someone is going to make their own assumption about what you mean.
And I really, when you do respond, it doesn't carry more weight. It's more of it
right.
must be serious because he opened his mouth for a change.
Truth.